Very good morning to all of you. This is mathematics class of grade 8 and this is my lecture number 3 of chapter number 5 data handling. Let us see today's topics, what all we will be discussing in this lecture. First of all, we will be recalling the concept of pie chart, how to make a pie chart. This we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now in this lecture we will be recalling that. Then after that, I will be introducing the concept of probability, including subtopics like experiment. What do you mean by an experiment? What is a random experiment? What are equally likely outcomes? How the chance and probability are related to one another? And what are favorable outcomes? Likewise, we will be learning the definitions of all these subtopics and we will be learning more about them. So let us recall first about pie chart or circle graph. So pie chart is also known as circle graph. A pie chart basically shows the relationship between a whole circle and its part. What we are supposed to do in a pie chart, we must have seen the graphs in the circular form, that is basically a circle graph or pie chart. And this pie chart basically shows the relationship between a whole circle and its parts. The circle is divided into sectors. The size of each sector is proportional to the information it represents. This all we have understood. I will be showing you the example again so that it will be clear to you again. Pie charts are also known as circle graphs. This is what I already told you. This was the heading only, that is circle graph or pie chart. It means pie charts are also known as circle graphs. The total angle at the center of a circle is 360 degree. This all we know. What is the total angle in a circle? That is 360 degree. The central angle of these sectors will be a fraction of 360 degree. And likewise, using this 360 degree, we need to find the angle of sector for every entry which is given to us. So how we will find out that angle of sector? We will be using this formula. First of all, we need to take value of item over sum of values of all the items into 360 degree. This I will be explaining with the help of an example also. So the very first thing is you are supposed to find the angle of sector for every entry or the value which is given to you using this formula. The formula is value of item, that is what it is given to you, divided by sum of values of all the items. You need to take their sum into 360 degree because the total angle at the center of a circle is 360 degree. So the central angle of the sectors will be a fraction of 360 degree. Now this is an example which is showing the composition of milk. Here the components of milk is being shown in percentage. This is basically the figure of circle graph or pie chart. This is how the circle graph or pie chart looks like. Now I have taken one example. The favorite flavors of ice creams for students of a school is given in percentages as follows. These are the three flavors. These are the three flavors liked by students of a school, like chocolate flavor, vanilla flavor and other flavors. And this represents the percentage of students preferring the flavors. Like the students, those who are liking chocolate flavor are 50%, vanilla flavor it is 25%, and other flavors it is again 25%. So first of all, as I told you, we need to find the angle for angle of sector for every value. So how we are supposed to proceed? Let us see. For chocolate it is 50%, it is given to us. And we know that as percentage is given, so 100 we need to write in the denominator. This is what it is, the total of all the values. So 50 over 100 is equal to 120 into 360 degree. This is what I told you, the formula. Value of item, or you can, if you are not if you are not ready to write this, if you are not getting this, how we have done this, you can write directly like it. You can write like this: 50 over 100 into 360 degree. This is what I am showing in this fraction of 360 degree. Likewise for vanilla, you can write 25 over 100. This is the value of the item, that is 25. This is the total, that is 100%. Percentage is given to us, so we will be taking 100 as total into 360 degree. This is the formula I told you. Value of item over sum of values of all the items into 360 degree. This is what we are getting the angles for every flavor. Now for other flavors also it will be 90 degree. So the angles we have seen, it is 180 degree for chocolate flavor, it is 90 degree for vanilla flavor, and for other flavors it is again 90 degrees. Now this is how we are supposed to make the pie chart. Basically, firstly we are supposed to make a circle with any radius. Likewise, you have seen, you are looking at this slide. In this, a circle has been made, and I have marked its center as O, and radius I have taken OA. Now the angle of the sector for chocolate is 180 degree. This is 180 degree. Using protector, you are supposed to draw AOB as 180 degree. Then for vanilla, it is 90 degree. And for other flavors, it is 90 degree. Ideally, these angles are being in clockwise direction. You can make it in anti-clockwise direction, but ideally they are supposed to be made in the clockwise direction. So these are the angles using the protector I have made. Chocolate was the first entry, so I have made 180 degree, then 90 degree, and then 90 degree. Now, these are the steps how to create the pie charts. For creating a pie chart, the following steps needs to be followed. For each list of the item or activity, calculate the fraction or part which it represents. We have calculated the fraction or the part which it represents. Like I have taken 50 over 100 and I have converted it into fraction. Or you can directly do it as or you can directly calculate it as 50 over 100 into 360 degree. Convert each fraction into degrees by multiplying it with 360 degree. We have done this. Then I told you, after calculating the sectors or the fraction of 360 degree, you need to make a circle and divide it into sectors. The central angle of each sector is equal to fraction of 360 degree. This is what we have calculated. Draw a circle with any convenient radius. Mark its center as O and radius OA. This is what I explained in the previous slide. The angle of this sector for chocolate is 180 degree. Use the protector to draw the angle AOB equal to 180 degree. This is what we have done. Likewise, remaining sectors you are supposed to mark, and you will be getting your pie chart or circle graph. Firstly, what you are supposed to do, calculate the angle of sector for every value. Like for chocolate, you have calculated the angle. For vanilla, you have calculated the angle. For other flavors, you have calculated the angle. Then make a circle with any radius. Mark its center and radius. And then the angle of the sector for chocolate, as it was the first entry, so I have made 180 degree. And likewise, using the protector, you can make other angles also. Now, next comes the very important concept, that is probability. In this probability, we will be learning what is probability basically, how chance and probability are related to one another, what is experiment, what is sample space, what is a favorable outcome. Likewise, these definitions we will come to know, and with the help of this few examples, we will understand it in a better way. Chance and probability. Dear children, in our daily life, we face a lot of situations where we take a chance and it does not go the way we want it to. That means in our daily life, we face a lot of situations where we take a chance, and it is not mandatory that every time we will get the result or we will get whatsoever we want. Like sometimes it happens that during rainy season, you carry a raincoat every day and it does not rain for many days. However, by chance, one day you forget to take the raincoat and it rains heavily on that day. It may happen. Let us take another example. Sometimes it so happens that a student prepares 4 chapters out of 5 very well for a test. These are the normal situations where you can understand these chances and the probability concept very easily. So, but a major question is asked from the chapter that left unprepared. It may happen. So these are the examples where the chances of a certain thing happening or not happening are not equal. It may happen for many days it does not rain. For many days, the day you are not carrying the raincoat, it rains heavily on that day. And for many days you were carrying a raincoat every day, and it does not rain for many days. So the chances of a certain thing are not equal in this case. And for the example which I have shown above, that is, you have prepared 4 chapters out of 5, and the major question is asked from the chapter that is left unprepared. So the chances of a certain thing happening or not happening are not equal. We, however, consider here certain experiments whose results have an equal chance of occurring. We will be considering those examples only in this concept, probability, in this chapter, or in this class, I should say, class 8, where certain experiments whose results have an equal chance of occurring. There will be equal chance of occurrence of the outcomes or the certain experiments, or the results, I should say. So, getting a result. You might have seen that before a cricket match starts, captains of the 2 teams go out to toss a coin to decide which team will bat first. This happens normally. This you must have seen. What are the possible results you get when a coin is tossed? So what are the possible chances? Of course, head or tail. Either we can get head or tail. Can you control the result of the toss? That tossing of a coin and the outcome, that tossing of a coin, we are doing it, but the result is not in our hands, so we cannot control the result of a toss. Can you get a head if you want one? Can you, or a tail if you want one? No, that is not possible. So it means that getting a result is not at all in our hands. We cannot control the result of the toss, but we know the outcomes, that is head or the tail. We are sure that either head will come or tail will come. So you might have seen that before a cricket match starts, captains of the 2 teams go out to toss a coin to decide which team will bat first. What are the possible results? Either head will come or tail will come. We cannot control the results of the toss. That is not possible. Such an experiment is called a random experiment. Head or tail are the 2 outcomes of the experiment. What is the result of an experiment? That is head or tail. This tossing of a coin is basically an experiment. And what are the outcomes or the result? Head or tail. So head or tail are the 2 outcomes of this experiment. And wherever we cannot control the outcome, that is called an experiment, a random experiment. An experiment is called random if it has more than 1 possible outcomes and it is not possible to tell the outcome in advance. We cannot predict whether tail will come or head will come. So an experiment, what is a random experiment? An experiment is called a random experiment if it has more than 1 possible outcomes, head or tail, more than 1 possible outcomes we have, and it is not possible to predict or tell the outcome in advance. And what do you mean by an experiment? What is the definition of an experiment? Experiment is any procedure that can be infinitely repeated and has a well-defined set of possible outcomes. Is any procedure in which we are repeating one thing again infinitely, but that has a well-defined set of possible outcomes. Well-defined set of possible outcomes we will be getting for sure, but that will be infinite. That can be or may not be infinitely repeated. So that can be infinitely repeated and has a well-defined set of possible outcomes. That is known as the sample space. So all the possible outcomes comes under the sample space. So what is sample space? The set of possible outcomes. All the possible outcomes is known as sample space. This I will be explaining in further slides also. So each outcome of an experiment or a collection of outcomes make an event. So what do you mean by an event? Collection of outcomes or each outcome of an experiment makes an event. So we have learned here, what do you mean by a random experiment? A random experiment or an experiment is called random if it has more than 1 possible outcomes and it is not possible for us to predict the outcome in advance. That is random. We cannot predict the outcome in advance. And what do you mean by an experiment? It is basically any procedure that can be infinitely repeated and has a well-defined set of possible outcomes known as sample space. So all set of possible outcomes basically is known as sample space, and any procedure that can be infinitely repeated, that is an experiment. Each outcome of an experiment or a collection of outcomes make an event. These are the certain terms which you should know to understand this concept of probability well. For example, rolling of a die is an experiment. We are rolling a die, we have tossed a coin. All these come under the examples of experiment. Getting 1, 2 or 3 or getting even numbers when a die is rolled is an event. So these are the, what do you mean by event? So getting 1, 2, 3 or getting even numbers when a die is rolled is known as event. The set of all the possible outcomes to occur in any experiment is known as sample space. This is what I told earlier. What do you mean by a sample space? Set of all the possible outcomes to occur in any experiment. For example, if I toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? Head or tail. So this is a sample space. Tossing a coin, sample space is head or tail. These are the possible outcomes which I will be getting. Rolling a die, that is sample space will be, I can get any of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So this is sample space. This is represented by S. Simple as this. Now, what do you mean by equally likely outcomes? What is this equally likely outcomes? Suppose you toss a coin several times and number of times you get head or tail is noted. Suppose you and your friend are playing a game and both of you are tossing a coin and the number of times you get head or tail is noted. And if you observe that table, you will find that you increase the number of tosses more and more. The number of heads and the number of tails come closer and closer to one another. That means if you will keep on if you will observe that table, you will find that as the number of tosses, number of heads and the number of tosses will come closer and closer to each other after certain count. So similarly, when you throw a die several times, the number of each of the 6 outcomes become almost equal to one another. They will become almost equal to one another. So what are these equally likely outcomes? These are those outcomes which have the same chance of occurring. Equally likely means the outcomes having the same chance, equal chance of occurring. Simple as this. As the name indicates, equally likely outcomes, the outcomes which have the same chance of occurring. For example, tossing a coin. The probability of getting a head and probability of getting a tail is equal. There is an equal chance of getting a head or getting a tail. So this is an example of equally likely outcome. Now next comes the favorable outcome. It is one of the possible results of an experiment. Favorable outcome means if I am tossing a coin and I say what the possible outcomes, favorable outcome is basically the outcomes which ensure the occurrence of an event. For example, in tossing 2 coins, what will be the favorable event of getting heads? So that is my favorable, which means the outcome which I am interested to find out, that is favorable to me. I just want to know the outcomes in which head will be there. So that is my favorable outcome. It is one of the possible results of an experiment. For example, in an experiment of tossing a coin, getting a head. I am tossing a single coin. I just want the outcome. I just want to know how many times only head will come. This is my favorable outcome. So this is only one time, that is H I have taken. There are only 2 possible outcomes, either head or tail. So favorable outcome, my favorable outcome is H, that is getting a head. In an experiment of rolling a die, getting an even number. So what are the even numbers? We know the even numbers are 2, 4 and 6. So the favorable outcomes are 2, 4 and 6. If I roll a die, what are the outcomes, possible outcomes? It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I want, what are my favorable outcomes? What is my requirement according to the question if I am saying? That is even numbers only I want. So the favorable outcomes are 2, 4 and 6. Next comes the topic, that is linking chances to probability. Consider the experiment of tossing a coin once. If I am tossing a coin, what are the outcomes? This is very common example, and this is very easy to understand. That is why I am taking this example only. There are only two outcomes, that is head or tail. Both the outcomes are equally likely. As I told you earlier, there is equal chance of getting a head or there is equal chance of getting a tail. So these outcomes are equally likely. Likelihood of getting the head is one out of the two outcomes. So there are possible total two outcomes can be are possible, either head or tail. So total is 2. I have written in the denominator 2, but I want head only. So one head is there, that is my favorable outcome. So that is 1. So the probability of getting head is 1 over 2. Similarly, the probability of getting tail is 1 over 2. So we can deduce the formula, or we can say the formula of probability of occurrence of any event is number of favorable outcomes. My favorable outcome is head. So that is 1 I have written in the numerator, divided by total number of outcomes of the experiment. If I will toss a coin, how many outcomes I will get? There are two chances of getting either head or tail. So 2 possible outcomes of this experiment. So the probability of occurrence of any event is given by number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes of the experiment. But the condition is when the outcomes are equally likely. Now let us talk about the homework part. Dear children, your homework is to complete question number 1 to question number 6 of exercise 5.3 in your homework notebook, or you can do question number 3 in book. Question number 3 and 4 can be done in the book. Rest all you can do in notebook. Question number 3 and 4 can be done in the book. Question number 3 and question number 4 you can do in book. Rest all leftover questions you can do in the homework notebook. So dear children, in this lecture we have first of all recalled what is pie chart or circle graph. After that we have learnt the concept of probability and learnt the definitions of experiment, random experiment. What do you mean by an experiment? An action which results in some well-defined outcomes. That is an experiment. Tossing of a coin is an action. Rolling a die is an action. Likewise, you can take many examples in which an action which results in well-defined outcomes is called an experiment. And what do you mean by a random experiment? An experiment is called random if it has more than one possible outcomes and it is not possible to tell or predict the outcome in advance. Then we have learnt about sample space. What is sample space? Sample space is basically a set of all the possible outcomes. For example, tossing of a coin. If I am talking about a tossing of a coin, what are the possible outcomes? Head, tail. So this is a sample space. Likewise, rolling a die, you can take the example. Next, we have learnt about event. What is an event? Each outcome of an experiment or collection of outcomes is called an event. Then we have learnt about equally likely outcomes, favorable outcomes. So now your homework is to complete question number 3 and question number 4 in book of exercise 5.3. Rest questions are supposed to be done in your homework notebook. Let us see the solutions of exercise 5.2. Question number 2 is, a group of 360 people were asked to vote for their favorite season from the 3 seasons, rainy, winter and summer. A survey has been conducted wherein a group of 360 people were asked to vote and they told the favorite seasons. They told their favorite seasons, that is rainy, winter and summer. Now you are supposed to give these answers. Which season got the most votes? Find the central angle of each sector. Draw a pie chart to show this information. So we are supposed to make a pie chart here in this question number 2. This is the data given to us, that is season, summer, rainy or winter. Number of votes 90, 120 and 150. This is the table given to us in the question. Now for pie chart, as I told you, you need to find the value or angle for every sector. That is, for summer you need to find the angle, for rainy season you need to find the angle, for winter season you need to find the angle, and then you need to make a pie chart. So first answer is, By observing the given data, simple, this is a very simple question. You are just supposed to look at the table and you will find that winter season got the most votes. Number of votes are highest in winter season. So this is the answer of first part. For second part, as I told you, angle of sector is to be calculated. To find angle of sector, what is the formula? Value of item over sum of values of all the items into 360 degree. So value of item, that is for summer season, 90 people voted in favor, and total, as I told you, a group of 360 people were inquired or surveyed. So for summer season, the angle will be 90 over 360 degree into 360 degree. You will be getting 90 degree. For rainy season, it will be 120 over 360 into 360 degree. That is equal to 120 degree. The value of item for rainy season is 120. So what? 120 over 360, that is total, into 360 degree. You will be getting 120 degree. Central angle for winter season, it will be 150 over 360 into 360 degree. That will be 150 degree. So this is what we have calculated the angles for summer, rainy and winter season. Now, according to the angles, we need to, first of all, we need to make a circle of any radius and take its center as O. If you want, I have not written, you can write it. And then accordingly you have calculated the angles. For winter, for summer it is 90 degree, for winter it is 120 degree, for rainy it is 120 degree, for winter it is 150 degree. Likewise, you can make the angles. Using the protractor, you are supposed to make the angles. Now let us talk about third question. It is draw a pie chart showing the following information. The table shows the colors preferred by a group of people. Again, first of all, you need to find the total, that is the total given to us, that is 36 degree. Then what you are supposed to do? Find the angle of sector for every color. This is what? For every color, these are the values. So what will be the angle for first blue color? I am just taking an example here. Then I will be showing you completely on the next slide where I have taken the complete table. So it will be 18. 18 is the value of the item. That is 18 for blue color. Total is 36 into 360 degree. So what angle you will be getting? It will be 180 degrees. Likewise, for green color, red color, yellow color, you are supposed to find the angles and then make a circle and then draw the angles using protractor. Likewise, this is the table. As I told you, for blue color, it is 180 degree, 9 over 36 into 36, 90 degree. So this is the way you can make the or find the angles of for each value. As total was given to us 36, so you can get the angles and make a circle of any radius. Start making the angles. 180 degree you have made first, 90 degree green, 60 degree, 30 degree. You can make the angles using the protractor. Next question is, question number 5 is, the number of students in a hostel speaking different languages is given. Display the data in a pie chart. You are supposed to display the data in a pie chart. This is the table given to us. Language, Hindi, number of students, those who are speaking Hindi language are 40, English, likewise Marathi, Tamil and Bengali, and the total is 72 degree. So likewise, as I told you, the first requirement is you need to get to know the total. Total is already with us. Then you need to find the angle of sector for every value. For Hindi language, how will you find the angle? It will be 40, total is 72 into 360 degree. You will be able to get the answer. Likewise, for every language, you need to find the angle. This is what I am showing you in the next slide. You will be getting 40. Total is 72 into 360 degree. So the angle will be 200 degree. For English, it is 12 over 72 into 360 degree. That is 60 degree. After cancelling out 72 and 360 degree, you will be able to get the answer. Likewise, for Marathi language, 9 over 72 into 360 degree, you will be getting 45 degree. For Tamil, 7 over 72 into 360 degree, it is 35 degree. For Bengali, likewise, you will be getting the angle as 20 degree. Now, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to make a circle, start making the angles. It is better to make it in the clockwise direction, and then you will be able to get the pie chart. 200 degree, first of all, you have marked using the protractor, and then 60 degree, 45 degree. This is for Hindi, 200 degree, English 60 degree, 45 degree, Tamil 35 degree, and Bengali 20 degree. This is how you are supposed to make the pie chart. So I hope, dear children, you have understood all the concepts and you will be capable enough to solve all the questions taught in the lecture on the basis of the concept, that is probability. You will be able to complete exercise 5.3. Thank you so much.